Hi, thanks for joining me. So I'm going to be reading from Even When, the book that I've recently been picking up from Sara Pasterski. This was given to me again by a dear friend, and I just want to share another reading. It's saying about how no matter how many different trials that we might be given to test our hope and faith in the Lord, we still need to find thanks for everything, and it'll only make us stronger. So enduring trials is an experience that helps us identify with Christ and become more like Him. We are called to humbly submit to God's divine purposes in trials and suffering, knowing that He is ultimately bringing us closer to Him and conforming us to the image of His Son. This is from Philippians chapter 3, verse 10 to 11. So I'm just going to read that one more time in case I read it too fast. We are called to humbly submit to God's divine purposes in trials and suffering, knowing that He is ultimately bringing us closer to Him and conforming us to the image of His Son. So when you think that you have had it hard or it can't get any worse, find grace in that moment. Find something to be grateful for and know that He is there. I mean, just like Jesus on that cross, He didn't complain, He didn't argue, He humbly submitted and served God. So let's go ahead, bringing that grace into our breath and practice. Nice big inhales, thinking of God, exhaling, soften anything that is you and not serving you. Inhale. Exhale you. Keeping that big breath. Go ahead with the arms. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale, come up. Exhale down. This time we're inhaling up. You're going to go ahead and put one hand down and reach. You can stay here or stretch it out. And then with your inhale, come on up. Exhale over to the other side. Again, you can reach. If this feels good, stay here. You can rock it out. And then from here, inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, we're going to come down and pull ourselves into a tabletop. So you want your wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. This time we're just going to use this transition to tuck our toes underneath and come into a downward dog. So really get the hips up, sending them back, lengthening through the spine. Once you have the spine all set, go ahead and pedal out the legs one at a time. Take your time. This might be your first downward dog today. And then from here, when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and take the right foot, come forward, and replace it with the right hand. Come into a lunge, keeping that back leg up yet, nice and open through the chest. And then when you're ready, go ahead, lower that back leg. Maybe feeling a stretch a little bit more. You can come up with the chest. So it's always about finding the balance between effort and ease. So you don't want to create suffering for yourself. If you're in it and there's no way to get out, then find God. Find something that you could be grateful for. But I don't want you to ever create suffering for yourself. So go ahead, if this is bad on the knee, come off of it, double up the mat. You can take your hands to the inside of the foot if you want and put a little pressure off of that. Just want to feel a nice stretch. We're going to hold it here for a little bit so that it can open up. We're going to do a lot in the legs and hips today. Might be hard for you to hold something this long, but with holding, that's when you're hopefully able to release. And through that endurance, create strength in Him. Go ahead, we're going to start to push that front leg, start to straighten it, and then bow down into that straight leg. So going where it feels comfortable. Again, you don't need to create any pain. You just want that nice stretching feeling. And hopefully after a few breaths that it starts to feel better. Get nice deep breaths, inhaling God, exhaling you. And you're hopefully going to feel it on that hamstring. If you feel it in the knee, bend the leg a little bit. So today we're going to be holding a lot in our stretching and in our strengthening. We're not moving so much with the breath today because we're going to create some endurance. A lot of times it's hardest when we hold something because our mind wants to wander or wants to tell us to get out of it, to shift. So let's stay here in the presence and grace of Him. Inhale, you're going to come up. And this time we're just going to bend it, both legs so that they're 90 and 90. Once you have that, go ahead, curl the back toes under and hover that back knee. So we're going to stay here. Again, we're not going to be moving. You want, again, to make sure those legs are 90-90 so that you're not hurting the knees. If for some reason this does hurt the knees, you can come up a little bit more. Again, you don't want to create any bad pain, for your joints or knees. All I want you to create in these poses are feeling of strength and fatigue. So you're going to get fatigued in the muscles. But with that, I'm going to ask you to overcome the mind, ask to be in the Lord's presence and to find strength in Him, that you can prevail. Go ahead, we're going to go a little bit lower in case you started to come up. 2 more big breaths, still breathing here. And with your next inhale, you're going to start to straighten the legs. Exhale, come down. Nice and slow. Inhale up. Exhale down. If you are off on your balance, stay here. Otherwise, go ahead and lift the arms up while you straighten the legs. Exhale down. 4 more. Still breathing as you move. And on this last one, you're going to come back down into it. And like I said, some people have a really hard time staying still, whether it's with the mind or the body. It's just not comfortable. We hold our breath. We get all this tension. So if that's the case, I'm okay with you moving a little bit. Go ahead, pulsate it out. But still try to stay here. Stay down low. You got this. If you're able to chest yourself a little bit more, don't pulsate it out. Stay here. Stay still. Couple more breaths. Exhaling you. Inhaling in. And with your next inhale, go ahead. Come to a standing position. Woo! It's always easier to give Him thanks after we're out of it and not in that moment of suffering anymore. So thanks, Lord. Hopefully we're able to also give Him thanks while we're doing it. The left leg, you're going to bend and come into baby dancer, bringing the heel to the butt, keeping the chest up. Try to keep the knees together and parallel. Don't let it come out. 1 more big breath. Whew, I can't close the eyes. And then from here, with your next inhale, the knee's going to come up into the chest. Stay here with the leg, but exhale, releasing the arms. 1 more inhale, stay the leg up. Exhale, slow and controlled, releasing it down. Roll out the ankles if you need to. And then go ahead, inhale, come to the top of the mat, high prayer. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands come down. And this time the right foot's gonna go back. We're gonna come into that high lunge again with the legs, keeping the chest up. When you're ready, go ahead, lower that back knee down. Get the chest up a little bit more. Feeling a nice stretch on that right groin or psoas area. And if you need to, you can put the hand down so the chest isn't quite up if you just don't have space, and to relieve a little bit more of the pressure. Again, going where you still feel it, but not going too far. So we're doing this humbly. We're not, I gotta look like that. I gotta create all this pain and strain. It's that balance again. We're humbling ourselves, finding a position that we can stay in and endure the trial. With your exhale, slowly start to straighten that front leg. And then just make sure that you're feeling it in the hamstring, right behind that thigh, and not in the knee. If it's in the knee, bend the leg again or push into the heel. Finding softness. With the exhale, releasing any of those tension. Still finding him in the breath. And with your next inhale, slowly come on up. We're going to do the 90-90 again. So front leg's 90. Back leg, get the knee underneath the hip. Curling the toes underneath. And then start to hover. So we're doing that same thing. Staying as low as we can with that back leg. And finding comfort and knowing that everything's going to be okay. That he's got us. So this is more than just this physical practice. I really want you to think of this off the mat, how you can bring this to your daily life, whether it's at work, whether it's at home with loved ones, enemies that you might call. You're going to find circumstances where it's going to get tough. And anytime you can try it with the smaller things and build your way up, it'll be easier for when that next season comes, that next trial. So stay with me here on this mat. Stay down here. See what gives in first, if it's the body or the mind. A lot of times it's the mind. But we're going to be focused on God today and find strength to endure and give thanks in this moment. When you're ready with your inhale, come on up. Straighten the legs. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Again, you can stay with your hands at the hips for balance, or if you want, move the arms with the legs and with your breath. 3 more. And on this last one, you're going to come down one last time. Your choice, how low you want to go. It's always your choice if you want to see if you can stay in that stillness a little bit longer. Or if you need to pedal it out and you're not quite there yet, then just bounce it out. Again, just seeing where you're at today. Knowing that you can do anything that God puts you to and through it. For with him, anything is possible. One more full breath. And with your next inhale, come on up with the legs. Bring the back one to the front. And we're going to do that baby dancer again. So go ahead, take the left heel to the butt. Open up through the chest. I'm going to do a side view. And just stay here. Soften with the breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bring that leg into the chest. Keeping it up. You're going to let go of the hands. Stay here for one more breath. And with the exhale, slow and controlled, let it come down. Good. Roll with the ankles if need be. And then from here, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, come all the way up with arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward fold again. Stay here for a little bit, rocking it out if the back needs it, or the legs. When you're ready, you're going to bend the knees, and the chest's going to come up for the chair. So notice where your knees are. I don't want them ever be on the toes. So send the butt back a little bit more, or maybe you just need to stand up a little. We're going to hold this again. So if your knees hurt, that's not the goal. I don't want your knees to ever hurt. You should feel it in your quads. So again, if the knees hurt, stand up a little bit more or sit back. And let's fatigue our muscles so that we can find strength and know how much strength we have with him. Soften through the face. Maybe bring a smile. Lighten the mood. Knowing that we are spending time with him, nothing could be better. We are doing this together. And when you get stronger, I get stronger, and vice versa. So we help each other out here. 2 more full breaths. With your next inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. You can rock out the back again, and the legs. And slowly, when you're ready, bend the knees and come all the way up. High prayer. Exhale, hands come down to the hips this time. We're going to open up the legs for a wide legged stance. Feet are parallel to one another. Go ahead and start to come down with the knees. And notice if your knees want to go out or stay where they are. If they stay where they are, great. If they want to go out a little bit more, then let the feet go out. You always want your knees to be pointed in the same direction as the toes. So find where it feels good. In the knees, you're going to, again, work the legs. Go ahead, inhale, the arms come up. Going to try to stay here. Breathing. You can soften the eyes. Again, if you want, just relax the jaw and the face, or you can bring a little smile. If you're going to create tension, might as well be a smile. No need to clench. And if you're one that has to move, you can go ahead and bounce it out, but try to stay still. 3 more full breaths. And when you're ready, inhale, you're going to come all the way up with the arms, straighten the legs, exhale, back down. 4 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Arms are going to come down. Feet start to come in. Heel toe your way. You're going to stretch the arms up for a high prayer again. Exhale to forward fold. You can waddle it out a little bit if you want. Swaying. And then from here, inhale, half lift. Exhale, 1 more forward fold. We're going to go ahead and take the right leg back So the left one's out in front. Lower down for the low lunge. And again, you might just stay here. It all depends where you're at. You can stay here. Maybe it's available to you and you can take the left hand and reach back and see if you can get the foot to come up. If you can, it's a great stretch for the quads. If not, honor where you're at. You don't need to create something that's not there. Hold for a few more breaths. And with your exhale, release the foot if it was lifted. Inhale, the arms coming back around. And go ahead, take that left hand out to the outside of that left foot, and you're going to bring the knee down to the wrist, that left wrist, and come into a pigeon. Now, if you're really tight in the hips, this is going to hurt your knee. So I don't want you to come into it. This is when you're just going to roll over onto your back and do pigeon here without the weight of your body pressing down. So again, if you ever feel it in the knee, just go to your back and pull the leg into the chest. Otherwise, come where it feels good here. You can stay up. You can come on your forearms or rest your forehead into the hands. Couple more breaths. Again, softening the face, shoulders, hips, wherever you're holding tension yet. We're finding grace in every pose, every movement as it comes in this present moment. When you're ready, inhale, come on up again with the chest. We're going to go ahead and go into a 90 for the legs again. And if this is not available, this is when you can come in a little bit more. You can go where it feels good. You don't ever want to creep in for the legs or the knees. You're going to reach. And then inhale, come up. We're going to, like windshield wiper the legs, switch sides so that your right one's now at the 90. And reach. Inhale to come up. Windshield wiper the legs. And reach. One more on the other side. Switching the legs. And reach. Inhale to come up. And then we're going to do the same thing, but reversing it so that right knee is going to come to that right wrist. The left leg is going to send back out for pigeon here. You can stay upright if it feels good or if it feels better. You can come down to the forearms, the hands. Or again, if it's painful on the knee, just flip it over onto your back and do your own pigeon. Again, breathing, relaxing with those exhales. Thinking of God with the inhales. One more full breath, breathing into the back line of your body. With your next inhale, come on up with the chest. This time you're going to lift up that front leg and get it to come up for that lunge again, that low lunge. Open up through the chest. You might just stay here, or if you want, you can take that right hand and reach to the back, keeping the chest up. This might be where you stay, or if it's available to you, you can start to bend the left leg this time. I'm feeling a nice stretch. Open up through the chest. One more full breath. With your exhale, releasing the leg. Inhale, the arms coming up and around. Go ahead, that back foot is going to meet, or the front foot's going to meet the back foot. Do one more child's pose here. Rock out the hips if you want. Thank you, Lord, for being with us. For teaching us that we can move with you and breathe with you
and have our being in you, whether we're suffering, whether we think we're at peace. We can always have your grace and mercy with our faith. So you guys can stay here however long you'd like. This is where I will leave you. Thanks again for joining me. Namaste.